everybody. I'm Evie Roberts, and this is my podcast, Talking in the Dark. Welcome. The aim of this podcast is to raise awareness about blindness, visual impairment, and disability in general, in a happy and light-hearted way. For those of you that don't know, I am blind. I was born with a condition called bilateral anophthalmia. Try spelling that one. It basically means that when I was born, my eyes didn't develop properly, so I wear prosthetics instead. The goal of this podcast is to remove some of the stigma and stereotypes around disabilities, whilst also having fun at the same time. Each week, I will be interviewing people from all walks of life, including some with hidden or physical disabilities like mine, and getting to know a little bit more about them and the lives they lead. This week, I am very excited to tell you that I will be talking to two-time Michelin star chef, author, and TV personality, Michel Roux Jr. My name is Evie Roberts, and this is my podcast, Talking in the Dark. Welcome. Hi Michel, how are you?
Yeah, I'm really good. It's great to be here and being able to have a chat with you.
Honestly, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It's such a privilege to have you. How's your day going so far?
Really good, actually. I had a hearty breakfast followed by a quick session in the gym because I like to keep fit. And now I'm chatting with you. So the day so far is really good.
Nice. Sounds quite kind of productive. I like that. So to begin with, I know that you grew up in a culinary household. Was being a chef something you always aspired to be, or did it develop as you grew up?
No, I mean, ever since I was a child, and I've always wanted to be either a chef or working in the hospitality industry. It's part of my DNA, I think, and I just love what I do. I don't see it as a job, I see it more as a vocation and a passion.
Right, okay. Yeah, I think it's really important to have a career, even if you don't see it as such, that you enjoy. I think it really helps kind of get you motivated to get out of bed each day.
Yeah, because in our industry we do tend to finish rather late, so getting up in the morning sometimes isn't easy. But if you don't treat it as a job and you treat it more as a way of life, then yeah, it's relatively easy, I think. Anyway, it is for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, do you think that your want to work in the hospitality industry was heavily influenced by the people around you? I know your father and uncle are both chefs.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, and we can go even further back. I mean, grandparents as well were working in the industry, and on both sides of the family. So yeah, and now look, I mean, my daughter has her own restaurant, and she's become a very, very talented chef in her own right.
Wow, that's incredible. It's really a kind of generational thing then. It's kind of passed down through the family.
Yes, most definitely. And I mean, my grandson is only 4 years old, but he's already very, very interested in not only eating food, but how and where his food comes from.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. So I know that you were also a patron for the Victor charity. So how did you kind of become involved with that charity?
Yeah, so well, it goes back a long, long time. Victor had only just begun, and they managed to get some places for the London Marathon. And I put my name in the ballot for the London Marathon and was unsuccessful. So I decided to go the route of charities. So I picked up a copy of Runner's World, the magazine for avid runners like myself. And I picked on a couple of the more well-known charities, and I phoned them up, and I didn't really get a very nice response. It was rather cold. And then I phoned up Victor, and spoke to a gentleman, John Brooks, and we just hit it off. And he was such a wonderful, wonderful man. And we got chatting, and before you knew it, there was like half an hour had gone, and we were talking about this, that, and everything, really, life in general. And he was just a wonderful man. So I said, well, this is the charity that I want to run for, because if this is how they deal with people that phone up, and that genuine warmth, then I want to raise money for them. And I have ever since. And I've run 13 London marathons for Victor, and I am now a patron, and I've done lots of other small things for them. And I just think it's wonderful that such a small charity can grow now, and do so much for so many people with visual impairment. And I think it's just wonderful. And I just know that every little penny that I raise goes to a good cause.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's always really comforting to know that. Now, I know obviously you've run 13 London marathons for Victor, and I know that, apart from that, you really enjoy long distance running. So what is it that you like about long distance running?
I think it's the fact that I can escape, and it's a moment where I'm on my own, and so I can reflect, because sport is fabulous for obviously keeping you fit and healthy, physically fit and healthy. But for me, it's as much mental health as well. And I think you don't have to be as extreme and as silly as me as running marathons, but even 20 minutes of brisk walking, and but on your own, getting the heart pumping is fabulous for physical and mental health.
Yeah, I mean, would you say that you find running as a bit of a coping mechanism if things get too much, if you get too stressed?
Oh, 100%. Yes, absolutely. And it really is, great for relieving stress, and for lifting all that sort of stresses and that you get in hard work, like the hospitality industry. So it's escapism as well, and it's almost a little bit selfish too, because you get sort of running away from all my troubles, but whilst I'm running, I can very often solve those troubles.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, how did you get into long distance running? Was it just something that you tried, or was it influenced by someone around you, or what got you
Yeah.
into it?
Yeah, well, I mean, I always used to enjoy sport, and carried on doing that, and running as well. I was one of the few kids that enjoyed cross country running at school. But then I started smoking, and not a particularly healthy life, but I still continued to run a lot. Not very well, put it that way. But then, with the arrival of my daughter, so 33 years ago, I decided to give up smoking. And so the running became easier, shall I say, and became more and more of a challenge. And I realized very quickly after giving up smoking and taking up running in earnest that my physical health and mental health was far better. And so then I got inspired to run the London Marathon, like a lot of people, watching it on television and then going out to cheer people on the streets as well. So I got inspired to put my name up and put it into the ballot. And and the challenge was there, and I got hooked. I got hooked and addicted to marathon running.
Fair enough. I mean, do you think if you didn't work in the hospitality industry, you'd want to do something to do with running, maybe do it as a profession?
Oh my word, yeah, in my dreams. In my dreams, I'd give Mo Farah a run for his money.
Fair enough. I love that. So, I mean, your family kind of have an iconic restaurant called La Gavroche. Now, I know that it's in London and it was established by your father and uncle in 1967, and then you took over, a few years later. I know that recently that restaurant closed its doors, and I would imagine that given its place in your family history, that wasn't an easy decision to make. So, would you mind sort of sharing the reasons behind why you made that decision?
Yeah, well, it's several reasons. I mean, it felt like the right time, and not many people get to choose the moment when they close their own business. So it felt like, the right time. The lease was coming to an end, and I didn't want to renegotiate and go through all of that. I'm getting on a bit now. I'm 63, soon 64. As I told you earlier, my daughter's had two children now, so I want to spend a little bit more time with my grandchildren, and just do other things. So I've got lots of other stuff going on, so it's good. And then it's always nice as well to be able to have a few nights off and sit on the sofa and enjoy maybe something on the television and dinner with my wife.
Yes, I would imagine that is nice because I know that whilst the restaurant was open, you say you spent more time there than you did at home sometimes.
Yes, that's absolutely right. I mean, incredible the amount of hours that I spent there, especially in the early years. But yeah, but I don't regret it for one moment. And but it's now cleared up a lot of free time for me, which is nice, and obviously a little bit less stress as well, because the running of a restaurant, especially at the moment, is not easy.
Yes, I would imagine. However, I believe that later this year, you're embarking on opening La Gavroche residence at sea. So, can
Mm.
you tell me a bit about that adventure?
Yes, that's with the Queen Mary and Queen Anne, the soon to be launched new ship, and I'm taking Le Gavroche out to sea. So taking some of my staff with me, that have stayed within the Roux fold, as it were, and we're going to be running the restaurant on board. And that's going to be about 30 days throughout this year. So I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be great fun.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. But I mean, how did that opportunity sort of come about?
Well, I know the executive chef of the group, the Cunard group, and he has become a friend over the time, and we've forged a nice partnership. And I think the Le Gavroche brand and works perfectly well with the Cunard brand and the Queen Mary and the Queen Anne.
Right, okay. So, with your kind of years of experience as a chef, what would you say are the hallmarks of a really good chef?
Oh, thick skin, tenacity, honesty. Oh gosh, there are so many, but you definitely need to be, oh God, determined. And what I say to a lot of young chefs as well is, the Michelin star end of my world is not for everyone. It's only a very, very small percentage of chefs and waiters and sommeliers that actually enjoy life, working in Michelin starred restaurants. But you can still be proud and happy to be working in other places, even making sandwiches. You just make sure that they are the best sandwiches that you can make.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you say about thick skin and determination. Would you say that they're sort of qualities that you develop over time within the industry?
Oh yes, absolutely, and you need to do that, and you need to work with a smile on your face as well. I've learned over the years, it's life is too short to be miserable and shouting at people. It's so much nicer and easier, and I think to smile and be happy. Sometimes it's not easy to be happy, but you should always at least try and smile and look for the positives in life.
Yes, 100%. So, is there a sort of like much loved dish that you really enjoy cooking?
Oh gosh, yeah, many dishes are obviously on the Le Gavroche menu. One which I suppose is a little bit of a love-hate relationship with me, because I love it because it's been on the menu since practically day one, so since 1967. Hate because I've seen so many of them. So it's the cheese souffle, the souffle suissesse. So it's a twice cooked baked souffle, and it's swimming on a lake of hot double cream and lashings of cheese. So it's rather indulgent.
Right, okay. I would imagine something like that takes a lot of practice to get right, though.
Oh yes, many a tear has been shed over souffle success of not getting it right.
Yeah, I could totally imagine. So, is there a favorite or memorable meal that someone else has cooked for you?
Oh yes, of course. I mean, I'm very fortunate. I dine out. I've been dined out in some wonderful places, but my wife makes a wonderful gratin dauphinois. So layers of potatoes and cream, flavored with garlic and nutmeg, slow cooked in the oven, and that is a meal in itself.
Right, okay, yeah, I can imagine. So, do you have any sort of like pet hates cooking wise?
Uh, Untidiness, personal tidy, working in a really tidy and clean way and cleaning up behind you and, being methodical about approaching a recipe. Uh, yeah, that's so important. That's as important as anything else.
Yeah, definitely. I will say, because I take food tech for GCSE,
Hmm.
and I would say that one of the things it's definitely helped me with, as well as, cooking, which I hadn't really done that much of before, it's definitely helped me be more organized and methodical with where I place certain things.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, you can't. And I was always a stickler in my professional kitchens of putting things back exactly where you took it from. And you get a muscle memory and everything, and and then you can almost without looking, you can pick something up, which is even more the case for someone like you. Everything has to be put back exactly in their place. And I used to get really annoyed when even the salt pot was not put back in exactly the same place.
Yeah, yeah, I can imagine. No, I'm very much like you in that respect because and I do it as well. I'll put something so that's like an inch too far to the left from where I put it like the week before, and I won't be able to find that for a solid 30 seconds. So I was sort of learned I need to be organized with where I put things because otherwise I will not be able to find them.
You've got to, yeah, and I think it's a way of life, and I'm like that with it in every. I'm not just in the kitchen. I'm like that everywhere, and yeah,
Yeah, definitely. I would imagine that that's a thing that kind of maybe you developed whilst cooking and is now just part of your everyday life.
it is. I have little habits where I put things, and it has to be there, and yeah, certain labels have to be facing the right way and such like.
Yeah, I totally get that. So, what would you say has been your proudest moment to date?
Oh wow. Um, Gosh, I mean, cooking at Le Gavroche, I've had many, illustrious and well-known, famous people that have come and dined there. But I suppose none more so than the the Queen, the late Queen, that came for a special birthday, and that was really special, cooking for the Queen.
Gosh, yeah, I can imagine. And I can imagine that that is something you will always remember and the memory that you will always treasure.
Most definitely, and yes, I mean when it was all organised, I mean the restaurant was open. We didn't close the restaurant for her, so there were other guests there. And when when they saw the Queen walk past, and the whole restaurant suddenly became very quiet, and yeah, but and she was supposed to be only staying for an hour and a half, and she stayed very nearly for 2.5 hours. So she was obviously enjoying her dinner.
Yes, clearly. Gosh, that's incredible. But yeah, I can imagine everyone would have done a bit of a double take if if they saw the Queen walk past.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, looking forward to the future then, do you have any aspirations for the future? And if so, what are they?
Gosh, well, I'm obviously taking my foot off the pedal a little bit now, and which is nice. I want to do a bit more fishing because I haven't had much time to go fishing, and I'm a keen angler. And spend lots more time with my grandchildren. And maybe publish another book. I'm going to do a little bit more filming too. So there's lots of stuff in the pipeline. But yeah, there's I'm not about to stop completely. Put it that way.
Yeah, definitely. I'm noticing with you, I know you've just mentioned you enjoy fishing and long distance running. I'm noticing that you really enjoy being outdoors.
Yes, yeah, I do. I mean, I do consider. I mean, I live in London. I've lived practically all my life in London. I love the city, love the energy of a big city. But I do enjoy getting outdoors, and I do enjoy the country air as well.
Yeah, if you had to pick, would you prefer a life in the city or would you prefer to live in the country?
I'm going to say the city because this is it. it's where I was brought up, and I do enjoy, as I said, the energy of city life. And yeah, I would have to say the city.
Fair enough. Yeah, that makes total sense. Well, thank you once again for coming on the podcast. Honestly, it's been such a privilege to talk to you. You're such an incredible person, and I know that you are super busy. So thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to talk to me.
No, thank you, Evie. It's been a wonderful chat this morning, and good luck for the future and all the other podcasts that you're going to do.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you to my audience for listening, and I will see you all next time.